Well, hey, welcome back to Karate Ramblings. I'm Kieran,
And I'm Brian.
and today we are talking about New Year's resolutions. Now, um, it's not that we're late getting to this podcast, it's that no one wants to start a New Year's resolution in January, so we'd wait for the end of January so everyone can start their New Year's resolutions by our advice in February. So,
Here we are, nearly February.
yeah,
Yeah, so we got
nearly
round to
February. Nearly doesn't count. We're still start of the year, technically.
it.
If you go by the 12 months, we're still start of the year.
So we
Anyway,
should say Happy New Year then.
yeah,
Really.
Happy New Year, Merry Christmas and tidings and holidays and whatnot. Even though that
Yeah.
was a month ago now, and I have not touched alcohol since,
No, me
and it's
neither. So
very cold outside.
that's a New Year start for me.
Yeah, it's a New Year's start, absolutely.
Yeah.
But with the New Year's comes New Year's resolutions and New Year's goals. So obviously being quite enthusiastic martial artists, Brian. New Year's goals, New Year's resolutions. Tell me, how would you set your New Year's resolutions? How would you go about deciding what you want to do or improve upon in the new year?
See, that's a funny one, really. I've never really set like a New Year's resolution. I think that normally what I used to do when I was younger, and I would set myself a challenge to learn something new every year. So not necessarily martial related, but I think over the years it's been okay. I'm gonna learn the guitar now. So I'd learn the guitar. My mother's from Malta, so one year it was like I'm gonna learn Maltese. So every year I try and learn something new. I'd never always stick to it beyond the year, but it was just my goal for the year to do this for this year. Some
Hmm.
things I've stuck with, like playing guitar. Still can't speak Maltese, although I'm trying Danish now. So, as
Ah,
a
right.
as a challenge to myself,
The
obviously
Dragon
have
Man got to you, did he?
yeah, he did, yeah. So having Danish friends and Danish connections, I mean, sort of go over there once a year. So yeah, I thought I'd give it. It's sincerely polite when I go over there just to say the odd word. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, martial goals. I mean, I have a pretty solid um training regime anyway, so to add to it with like new I suppose it is good to have goals, so it is good. But yeah, like I say, I have a pretty solid training regime anyway. So what do you do yourself? What do you?
Well, that's a good question. Each year, what I've been doing recently, so my girlfriend is into a lot of like notebooking. So she does a lot of like plans with her notebooks to help plan her week, her month, things she's looking forward to, and things like that. So one time as a gift, she got me a couple of notebooks. So one time I saw her and she was writing down things not last year, 2024, 2023, things that she'd like to do in the year as a New Year's resolutions list. So I thought,
Yeah,
I'll take a look at that. Or actually, before that even, write down the things you accomplished that year. So the
yeah,
things
yeah.
that you're proud of, the goals you've met. So um, I don't know if you made martial arts, if you did a grading, if you did a competition, if you, I don't know, one day ran further than you normally did, if you picked up a heavier weight than you normally do. Take a second to appreciate what you've actually done in the year. You may not think there might be many things, but if you look in your calendar, if you look, oh, I was at this seminar on that day, I went to go and learn this technique off that day, I visited that friend's dojo on that day, you know, you can look at the things you've done in the year and you can be proud of what you've done. And you can take a look at that and then you can look at what you might want to do to improve upon in the new year. So you might think, oh, I want to do more traveling and visit more dojos in the year. I want to do more seminars in the year. I want to do, I don't know, I want to do more camps in the year or something along those lines. Um, Way I look at my things is I always tell myself, okay, doing this, I'll do that, I'll do that, I'll do that again, as in like I will go to karate again, I'll pick up another, I'll continue the same cross training art or I'll pick up a new one. So I always find that to be good, but then I like to throw in like specifics if that makes sense. So one of my goals. So for the past like 3 or 4 months, I mean, for the past year, I've been doing K1 Muay Thai kickboxing, but for the last like 3 or 4 months, it's been pure Muay Thai. So one of the goals would be to understand the clinch a bit better.
Mm.
Another goal, because I'm quite asthmatic, is to improve my oxygen capacity, if you like, my ability to manage my breathing better, especially during sparring and during pad work. I was at Muay Thai earlier tonight, and I got some pretty good breathing advice. So the guy I was training with, he's one of the coaches, and he's like, "Oh, if you are feeling like you do need that breath, breathe in really quickly 10 times, like in and out very fast." I did
Okay.
that. I was like, "Oh my God, I've got my energy back. How the hell did that work?" But the simple fact is, you're just getting oxygen into your lungs and into your blood, into your muscles sooner.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, it's funny, really. Breathing while exercising obviously is really important to get it right, isn't it? So
Mm,
I always remember my PE teacher at school, and this was a long, long time ago. Just about running. I mean, this is how I run. It's like as I'm taking my pace, it's like 2 steps I'm breathing out, 2 steps breathing in. So I pace my breathing in time with my steps, and it works. It works for me. But
mm,
it's funny the things that you remember. But like I say, breathing is very important for any
mm.
exercise.
Yeah.
Going back to your note taking or your notepads, I did start with Les Bubka's Karate Journal. I quite liked it actually. I found it very useful when I was using it. But again, it's one of those things. I've never ever been a note taker. So when I used to go to seminars before everybody had camera phones and whatever else, and there was people that go off after each technique and go and scribble away in their notebooks, and I never ever did it. I just always seemed to remember it, and then I
Mm,
suppose the stuff I forgot wasn't for me. I don't know. Or the next time I attended the seminar, I remember that little bit. But yeah,
mm,
even if I wrote notes, I'd never make head or tail of them. So I'm just a
mm.
terrible, terrible note taker. But Les's journal was actually quite good. Um,
Yeah. Yeah,
so
absolutely. I mean, I've got I got Les's journal soon after it came out. I did a little video review for it as well, which Les approved. So
okay.
he can't blame me for anything bad I said. Actually, I didn't say anything bad. So, but it's a really good tool, and it does center around like your mood and your mental health around your training and how that affects it. Because obviously, Les
Yeah.
is a big advocate for positive mental health and maintenance, and looking after yourself, both
I
physically
think
and
there were
mentally.
I think there were goals and stuff there, but there are things to take
Yes.
notes. So that sort of thing actually could be very useful, isn't it? Very
Mm.
beneficial. Um,
Absolutely. I mean,
and you can, sorry, I was gonna say you can see where you are at the start of that notebook, and you can see where you are by the time you finish that
yeah,
notebook.
yeah.
And
I
then
mean, I used it for quite a while, especially when I was starting out in judo and BJJ as well. I got some good notes into it, but the problem was I'd come home, I'd have to, okay, geese going in the wash,
yeah,
eat your dinner, brush your teeth, well, have a shower, go to bed. It just felt like too much to write a note as well. I know it is encouraged to write your notes straight away, but
yeah,
it
because it's
is
kind of how you're feeling in the moment, isn't it? Rather
yeah,
than
exactly.
yeah, yeah, rather
Exactly.
than trying to reflect on it. Yeah,
Mm. But what
yeah,
I've so I actually, believe it or not, I pulled down that note, my karate journal off my shelf when I got back in from Muay Thai because I thought, okay, I got some good stuff from today. I've really got a note down. I've not done this in a while, but this is something that I think is really valuable. If I note these down, even though I may not look back at that page for another couple of months, I'll still remember it a bit better. I mean, like you're
mm,
saying, going to seminars, yeah, some people film, some people remember like yourself. I remember the things that I did didn't know already, if that makes sense.
yeah,
So, or things that really like stood out to me. So, I'll give you a bit of an odd example. Um, we went to a seminar with Ian Abernethy and Tommy Joe Moore late last year, and one of the ways that Ian said that he practices biting is literally just to loudly make a chomping noise with your
yeah,
teeth
yeah.
to symbolize, oh, I've just bitten my opponent. I've not put my teeth on them in a disgusting way. I've just made them realize, oh crap, they've just they in. they have pretended to sink their teeth into me. I've just left my ear vulnerable, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
things like that sink in. But if I already knew it, it wouldn't have sunk in. But that did because I didn't know that specifically, if that makes sense.
Yeah. In fact, if you're good at taking notes, it's really useful. I'm just going back to the
Mm.
note thing because when you mentioned Tommy, I did the World War II combatives instructors course with him,
Yeah,
and there was a
Project
guy
Victory.
there. Yeah, that's it. So there was a guy there, Chris. Quite a few people took notes, and again, I was just sitting there while everybody was taking notes. Thinking, I just don't do. I won't make head or tail of any of this, when it's done. So there's no point in me
Mm.
taking notes. It just ain't going to work. But this guy there, Chris, shout out to him. He started a group actually up in York. If, he
Mm.
probably won't even listen to this, but Battalion Martial Arts. So he's doing like a World War II combatives group. But he made some amazing notes and he shared them with the rest of the group. And
Mm.
funny enough, I mean, he was dyslexic as well. So he obviously wrote notes that he could understand, and then he typed them up in his hotel in the evening, and he just shared them with us all.
Ah.
And they were fantastic notes. They were really really helpful in remembering. So yeah, as somebody who's not a note taker, just because I just suppose I write shit notes. But yeah, what Chris done was really really good. So yeah, so yeah, I would say notes are good. Oh, I got a new. Sorry, I'm gonna be random here. Like I've got a new dimmer switch here, and it's just like not working.
You're taking
Yeah,
us through your dynamic shots there, Brian.
that's it. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna have to call my electrician out. Right. Yeah. So yeah, I think note taking is a good way of recording your progress and like you say, for you it was setting goals, wasn't it, as well?
Yeah. And just another one to throw out there. I know you mentioned it earlier, like video taking too. So one thing I did, I'm clearing out camera space on my Google Drive, and I thought, oh, okay, how many videos do I have on here? And they went back until like 2021, and that was when we were starting, I don't know, like a kickboxing style sparring in class. And I thought, okay, let's have a quick look. It'd be interesting
Yeah.
because this is when we were back training at the spare room in Ringcraft Boxing Gym in Dunstable. So I thought, okay, let's have a look. I had a look at that. I thought, interesting. Then I looked at one from a few weeks ago. I thought, oh my God, the difference is night and day. Even like
It's
on the pads,
yeah,
we've gone from like I don't know, maybe a 4 or a 5 to 20, if that makes sense, in terms
yeah,
of
yeah,
technical ability, timing, power, and patience as well. Just everything is
yeah,
better. So,
yeah,
if you see yourself then, see yourself much later, you can physically see the changes
yeah.
and be proud
So
of
I
that
think
too.
that is probably that was something I thought of doing actually this year, but not really remembering it for this conversation. But now it's come back. Is doing more stuff for YouTube
Mm.
because, like you say, I've looked at stuff that I've done. So even some like some because we were heavily into analysing kata and doing the kata bunkai. So some of the stuff I filmed 7 years ago or however long ago it was, and I look back at it, I think, oh my God, that's what we was doing then. And
Mm.
it's just evolved, we've just understood it more and we've become more fluent with what we're doing as well. So it is really good. I think it's a good tool, it's a modern day tool and it is
Mm.
a good one to use to
Absolutely.
monitor your
And
progress.
the stuff that we put out more often, it looks a little bit more scrappier, but it's so much more effective than being very clean and sterile bunkai. And I think it's a lot better. And just an example, like your YouTube channel's quite taken off quite a bit with that. You're getting tons of views on your content. So, that could be another goal for you to aim for the next 100 or the next 1,000,
Yeah,
whatever's
I
next in
think,
terms of subscribers.
yeah. So I think I mean, it's only small fry, isn't it? Yeah, compared to the big channels, but yeah, it's
Mm.
got to 1,700. So, maybe like if we're having this conversation this time next year, let's sort of go to 2.5K, perhaps. That
Yeah.
that should be easily achievable, really. YouTube
Mm.
Shorts just seems to be the one that um, takes off, really. So you can make a video that gets lots of views, and all of a sudden you've
Mm.
got another 40 or 50 subs. So yeah, so that'd be something. Like I say, it was definitely to record more stuff. Um, and I think Daniel Marino put up a video
Mm.
the other week about trolls. So and sometimes it can be shit. When you put a video up and people troll it, diss it, whatever you want to say. It can be a bit disheartening, and you think, well, it's not that bad, man. Why are you shitting on it? So now, just the more I've done it, the more sort of thick-skinned I've become doing it.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things I thought, just care a little less, just put stuff up there, because there'll be a lot of people that will find it interesting, and it's just the odd dickhead
Yeah,
that will troll
that's
it,
it.
really. Yeah,
I mean, you've got whenever you do anything, or you set yourself a goal, you got to do it because you enjoy it. And we enjoy making the videos, we enjoy putting them out there, and we enjoy promoting, good karate, enjoy promoting the club, and you know, that's a fantastic thing. We are, revolutionizing, well, not revolutionizing, but we're changing people's perception of karate. It's not this clean, sterile kendo range martial art with two people on the other side of the dojo. It's close, it's messy, it's,
that
good
was the other
stuff.
thought as well. So with our dojo in Dunstable, I think I can't remember who was saying this the other day, and I thought, yeah, this. I think it was Michael from Karate Breakdown.
Mm,
Because he doesn't really have a dojo. He says, even if you have a dojo, you can only get that message out for us. What, 15 people, 20 people in the dojo?
yeah,
When you mix both classes that we got, okay, let's call it 30. So that, maximum that we're gonna get our little message to is 30 people. But as soon as you put stuff out on YouTube, like you say, what we do, I hope, or in my opinion, is good karate. And I want more people to see it. And the only way to do it really is through this medium, isn't it? Just
mm,
doing the podcast, doing the videos of our training and stuff. And hopefully it, little by little, we can change the perception of karate,
yeah,
so
absolutely. 2025 is now the year of changing people's perception, change people's minds. And one thing that I like doing as well when we do post things out is I like playing around with a hashtag. So if you put like,
okay.
because we're
Yeah.
in Dunstable, I put like hashtag Dunstable or hashtag Dunstable martial arts, hashtag Dunstable business. I mean, no, we're not really a business, but
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
if people are following any of those tags, or they're probably searching, oh, Dunstable martial arts,
See which ones
might pop
work.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might
Yeah.
pop on the tag. It might not, because there is just a massive noise on
Yeah.
social media these days. But if it helps one more person find us, then all for it. That's the goal.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, but that I suppose that could be a bit of a mission for 2025 then, to promote good karate a bit more.
Mm,
I mean, I've got the Facebook group with Bob as well, that with the Applied Karate sharing group, which I think it's got about 5,000 members. Again, not
ooh,
massive numbers, but it's a good amount to get. And I stopped sharing in there just because I got trolled by some guy once, and I just thought, oh, it's a bit off-putting though. Do you know what I mean? It is even
yeah.
personal, sending personal messages just to sort of have an argument. Do you know what I mean? And in the end, I just like
Yeah.
blocked and delete. And really, that's what she's done in the very first place. It's just
I
block
mean,
and delete and just not bother with it.
yeah, I mean, maybe that's a new goal, is to give less of a fuck about,
Yeah,
people's negative opinions when they can't even provide any sort of, I don't know, backup or
I,
explanation, instead of just saying,
but
that's not the way I'm taught it, therefore
yeah,
you must be wrong. So,
I think if it's somebody who is known or somebody and is respected, then obviously you would listen to that opinion and take that.
hmm,
If it's a negative one, take it on the chin, or you'll not necessarily take it on the chin. Learn from it, if there's something valid to be said. But
yeah,
yeah, just the general bullshit that you get when you post online.
hmm,
I even stopped like allowing comments on my shorts, my YouTube shorts, because I just thought they're the ones that go out to a big group, and that's where you get most of the negative shit. But
hmm,
I've just turned it back on again. I thought, fuck it,
yeah,
if I want to say stuff, like Les soaks it up, doesn't he? He's like, yes,
hmm,
bring on the trolls, and he feeds the trolls and everything. So
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, so back to I think we went off on a tangent, as
yeah,
conversations do,
kind
but
of, kind of, but yeah, we're still talking goal
yeah,
centric with
eh, yeah. Have you
promoting
got
good
any
karate.
other?
So
Yeah, I was going to say, have you got any other big goals for 2025, Brian?
well, actually, yeah, again, thinking because I never really thought about it before this, before this podcast. But I set myself. I thought, right, I'm going to actually try and do a couple of open seminars as in teach a couple
Ah,
myself. So I
nice.
think previously I've been asked by other instructors. So like when Andy's done the bash, I've taught at the bash. I've taught for Les's karate for mental health, and I've taught. Well, so I've taught some other various bits and bobs. So I just thought this year I thought I'll organise one myself.
Hmm.
But still being a little bit of a coward, I'm still doing it as a joint seminar. So I've organised it. So the first one I'm doing is with Les. So with Les Bubka, and we're doing our sparring methodology. So how we
Hmm.
introduce a safe way of method of sparring, and what we're doing is joint. Well, I'm going to cover joint locks, how you can safely implement them in sparring, and Les will do throwing, and it's
Hmm.
aimed at karateka, predominantly, but it's not any style can do it really.
Hmm.
So that's the first one, and then obviously I'm doing one with Lee Taylor, kata-based pad drills, and it's not been announced yet, so you've heard it here first. I'm doing one with Joe Andrews and Greg.
Oh, very
So
nice.
yeah. So they dropped me a message and asked if I'd like to do it on their tour. So we're going to arrange one up here as well. So yeah, so that'll be, I think
Amazing.
it was October maybe. It was later in the year. So I've got one March, June, July, and then October. So throughout the year. So yeah, teaching
Fantastic.
open seminars. So there's a challenge for me. A challenge to sell tickets. So yeah, that's the hard bit of doing seminars, I believe.
Hmm.
So
That's fantastic. That's yeah, that's putting yourself out there a bit more, and that's also, you're encouraging your teaching ability in front of a large group, which you can do, but now you're doing it in front of
yeah,
a few more strangers. So that's
and again,
fantastic.
trying to promote good karate at the
Yeah,
same time, which is what is what we've
exactly.
already said. So hopefully people will enjoy it. So that's one of the challenges I'm doing this year.
Mm.
Yeah. So anything else for you then, Kieran? No competitions?
Ooh.
Have you set yourself a goal to compete?
Well, competition isn't it. Competition's always the funny one. So this, I do have a goal around competitions, but it's twofold. So first things first is I need to try and get to a decent weight for my height. So we talked about this the other day. So I'm giving intermittent fasting a try. So
Yeah,
that's you only eat in an 8 hour window during the day, and when that 8 hour window is finished, you don't eat. So it's meant to help your body digest all the food, burn off the fat, and instead of being on the immediate sugar from food constantly throughout the day, it's meant to help just get through the fat reserve. So I'll
yeah,
try that as much as I can, stick to it as best as I can. I think I was late today by about 10 minutes, but I'm sure it won't kill
yeah.
me.
I say that's what personally I found that's what works for me. So
Mm,
because I used to find I always used to say I'd snack in the evenings, but it wasn't snacking. I would just eat, say, oh, there's some biscuits. I won't snack on those. I'll eat and I'll keep eating
mm,
until I think I better stop, so maybe
mm.
the whole packet might have gone, and then so it's right. I got to the point where I've got to stop eating this crap after 8 o'clock, stop eating in the evenings. So yeah, I
Mm.
found the intermittent fasting really, really worked for me. And it gave a bit of discipline, so and like you say, I think even like from my doctor, my GP had said he does it himself, and for the similar things you said about burning off your sugar reserves and your fat and stuff like that. So yes,
Mm.
I don't know the ins and outs. All I know is it just works for me. So
Yeah.
so it's a good
So
one.
I've been on that for about 4 or 5 days since whatever last Friday was. I'm not going to bother counting, but I've been on that for a bit, so I'm not going to try judging myself on it too soon. Give it a little while before I make a decision. So that's step one: get myself to a reasonable competition weight, because the problem is whenever I go to compete, I always end up being in the category above what I'm supposed to be for my
Yeah,
height. I'm only 5'6", 5'5", maybe uh, mid 5 foot something, and I'm all because of my weight. It's not always fat; it is muscle sometimes.
yeah,
Sometimes I end up being fighting people who are bigger than me. So that's not
yeah.
always an ideal scenario. So if I get myself further down, which I know I can do, I've just got to be more disciplined in my New Year's resolution, and doesn't help that there is now cake in the house, which I'm doing my best to avoid. Once I get
Yeah.
myself there, then I will enter myself into what I'm looking for is um a light maybe K1-ish style kickboxing tournament that I could enter. And maybe later on I could take some students there as well, because I know we have a couple that are looking for some competitions. The
Yeah.
issue being is I don't know what these look like myself. So what I'm planning on doing is there's one that it gets run in Kent. So they do all sorts. They do points fighting. They do kata, they do K1, they do Muay Thai, and they also do strike and grapple, which is basically MMA, different style competition format. So what I'm planning on doing is in March when they have their first event of the year, I'm going to go over, take a look, take notes, ask some questions where it's appropriate, and yeah, report back and make a decision. So that
Yeah.
is hopefully something that will happen in 2025. If not, I'm sure there's tons of others on the KeyHap website that I can probably take a look at
There
some
was a
point.
lot on there, wasn't there? Yeah. So I
Yeah.
came across that the other day, and there was absolutely tons.
Mm.
So
So the two big
yeah.
ones, the two big sort of competition websites in the UK, I think, are KeyHap, KIHAPP, and Smooth Comp. Although I think in Smooth Comp, they mostly have Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournaments on there. But KeyHap, I think they have more either karate, taekwondo, or various kickboxing tournaments on there. So that is another goal for me. I do have another one which is a little bit left field, if that makes sense. It's a little bit out there. So last year I got interested online in catch wrestling because I thought, yeah, I
Oh
like
yeah.
the idea of like submission grappling, but then I thought, I never stay in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu long enough for me to get a grade at all. So I thought, maybe I could do a bit of research. And then I came across catch wrestling, which is basically wrestling
Yeah. Yeah.
with submissions. So it's a full system. The only thing they don't do is striking. And I'm sure there's a few other things they don't do, but there is one major wrestling catch wrestling center in the UK. I mean, there are various clubs, but there are a lot of them are up north. So the biggest one is called the Snake Pit, and that's in Wigan, so like northern
Okay.
Manchester.
Yeah.
So they have various like open seminars throughout the year. So what I'm gonna try and do when I remember is to drop them a message and see if they've got anything that's like beginner friendly. I mean, like I said, I've got quite a lot of experience in a few different grappling arts. So um, judo, BJJ, karate, of course, and like just general mucking about as well. So I'll see what's up there, but I am very curious about it. So yeah, that's a goal. Try catch wrestling at some point.
That'd be interesting. I mean, I think the wrestlers generally dominate the grappling game, don't they? I think.
Mm, that's good.
Uh,
Their goal is to always, get on top and pin, submit, and
yeah.
be in the best
Yeah.
position possible.
But yeah,
Whereas I think some other grapplers prefer being on their backs, which can work, but they don't use that as an advantage or as a method to get to the top, if that makes sense.
yeah, yeah,
Whereas judo, it's all about get to the top as soon as you possibly can, otherwise you're losing the fight.
yeah, yeah. I just think even like in the MMA and stuff like that, in the MMA world, anybody with a wrestling background seems to be the better grappler, don't they? Out
Mm.
of all the grappling arts, it seems
Yeah, but
seems
I've
that's the
also
one.
seen that people reckon that the wrestlers are the more resilient fighters as well. So
Yeah, I mean,
it is.
I mean, you watch any sort of training videos of wrestlers; they're hard as nails, aren't they? They're just
Mm,
they're beasts. They're a different breed, really, I
mm,
think.
mm. Oh, I also have one more goal. I know I've been nattering on a little bit, but I am interested in some other karate styles. So it's obviously core, our base art is Shotokan, but obviously we've moved past that label. But so one art that has interested me a lot is Shidokan karate. So that's karate. It's got full contact like Kyokushin style. It's got kickboxing and it's got like stand-up wrestling and rolling on the floor as well. There aren't that many clubs in the UK. I think there's like a one sort of club in London, and they do
Mm,
occasionally hold open classes. So as
okay.
soon as they have their next open class where everyone can go who's a
Yeah.
non-member, I'm definitely jumping on that because I thought, from
It's
the sounds of it and from like online content I see of Shidokan, it almost looks similar to what we do, except they just, they're always going for it, if that makes sense. So
yeah.
it looks pretty
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Yeah, that does. That sounds good. There was something I was going to mention actually. I can't remember
Mm.
what it was now, but it was. Oh yeah, okay. So I think we said about this actually, this podcast. We should perhaps try to do our New Year's resolution is to maybe do one a month.
Us be consistent on a podcast?
Well,
Rubbish. Never going to
it could.
happen.
Well, I'll say it could happen. It could happen. Oh,
That is the
my.
point. That is the point of
Yeah.
setting goals, isn't it? To try and
Yeah.
make the impossible possible, I guess.
Yeah, so yeah, maybe that I don't know. We'll be at the end of the month now, aren't we? So maybe at the end of each month, you may get a new podcast listeners,
Who
or it
knows?
could,
Maybe you guys will be treated to our voices once again each month. Who knows?
or it could be every other month,
Yeah, every
or
other month,
maybe every
but
third. Who knows? But
maybe
yeah,
every 6 months after we do something interesting, we'll report back on here. Who
but
knows?
that was it, wasn't it? I think it was. Yeah, we try and be a little bit more consistent with this. Um, so it's just yeah, and if anybody's got anything they want us to chat about, anything in the martial world, particularly karate, but anything martial really, we can chew the fat over that. But
Yep,
now we are running the time, we're running the clock down. So I would
yep.
say,
Got a few minutes left.
yeah. So things that are going on. We were supposed to do a joint session with the Sambo group down the road, which unfortunately didn't happen.
Yes.
I had my
Oh
house
yeah.
rewired, and yeah, after the house rewire, I've got lots and lots of decorating to do. So I will get round. We
Hmm.
will get round to meeting the guys in Watford to do some Sambo with them.
Hmm.
Um, Don came. I posted up in our little group. Don came, and John Johnson are doing a seminar in Milton Keynes
Ooh,
in
round
your
the corner from
hometown.
me.
Yeah, yeah, just down the road. So that's I think on the 16th of Feb. So I'm toying with
16th.
going there. Yeah, it's on a Sunday. It's the actual
Interesting.
address is
Am
in
I
Bletchley.
fr am I free?
I think it was the 16th. So
Uh, I'm afraid not. I am otherwise engaged on that
uh, but yeah, I may
day,
go. I
but
think Luke was talking about going. So yeah, we may head down to that. Mal, we always talk about Mal, but I think we'll have to
yeah.
have a podcast where we don't mention Mal at all.
Well, we were that close to not
We were
mentioning
so
him and
close.
just
Yeah,
had to do it.
yeah. I fucking ruined it. Oh, we got 6 minutes left. I can't. Yeah, can't
Luke
go a
is roll
podcast
Luke is
without
rolling his
mentioning
eyes at this point, isn't he?
him.
You could just
But
tell.
he's teaching in Waltham Cross.
Mm, 6th of April, I think.
It's a little way off, yeah, but yeah, January's already gone, so that's one of the first that I'm definitely going to be signing up for. In fact, I've already signed up for it. So yeah, looking forward to that. Mal showing
Yeah,
off his skills down in Waltham Cross, and I think I've had a chat with him about us going out for a bite to eat after with him. So
yeah, I'm up for
yeah,
that.
have a
Bit of
little bit of a
food.
social, yeah, a bit of a social afterwards. So yeah, always good to meet up with the Goshen Kudo Academy boys, so
Yeah,
and
yep.
girls. So
Speaking of,
yeah,
I'll be training with them this Sunday. Yeah, we're running a Kudo national training session, then a BJJ Open mat courtesy of Spenner up in Kudo, Yorkshire. So that'll be fun. I am taking one of our students up there for the first time, so that'll be fun to get her opinion on it. So
yeah, well, she's mad as a box of frogs anyway, so I think she'll be fine.
exactly.
She'll be fine. Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, yeah.
yeah.
No, I
So
can't think of anything else.
so Steve's tournament will be coming up soon. He hasn't set a date for it. Steve Goodhand's combat
Hmm.
karate tournament. He did message me the other day. I even thought about maybe doing a little regional one up here, just by invitation only. So to some
Hmm.
local, not know about local clubs, but anybody who does a similar kind of thing to us, just throw an invitation out. But that's as far as it got, the thinking stage. So I think I've got enough on my plate without that as well.
Hmm.
So,
Maybe next
but
year.
yeah, there you go. That'd be the goal for next year. But I think that needs to grow. So Bournemouth's a
Hmm.
bit of a trek for all of us. but I think Steve wanted it to grow as well, didn't he? So I think he wanted
Yeah,
to have different regions hosting the tournament. So um,
absolutely. Maybe we could have a word with Steve next time we speak to him.
yeah, yeah, we could even have him on here, couldn't we? We never have a guest on the podcast.
Yeah, true. La
Yeah,
last guest was, well, I think last guest was us being guests on Les's podcast, so it's not
we
quite the same thing,
we
but
had Luke, which is yeah,
yes.
he's one of the Zanshin Massive, so
Mm.
one of the Zanshin
Wise
crew.
Sensei Whitworth.
Yes. Let's see if he's got this far down the podcast. He's had his mention. Right. Twice.
Okay,
Right.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we good?
Yeah, I
Um,
think that about wraps it up, guys.
yeah.
Thanks for listening. As usual, you can find me at Mackenzie Karate on Instagram.
And Brian Bates Zanshin Karate everywhere. YouTube, Instagram, even TikTok. So there you
Oh
go.
dear. Only
Yeah.
a matter of
All
time
right.
before it's banned in the UK too. Anyway,
Yeah.
have a good one, guys, and we'll catch you on the next one. Us.
Us.